In this example, we will be finding the vertical and horizontal asymptotes of a rational function. The rules for finding the vertical asymptotes are on the left, and the rule here is simple. You just set the denominator equal to 0 and solve for x. The rules for horizontal asymptotes are not as simple. You do have to memorize the three cases that can happen. And the cases depend on the degree of the numerator and the degree of the denominator of your rational function. So if the degree of the top of the numerator is bigger than the degree of the denominator, then there's no horizontal asymptote at all. There is an oblique asymptote, but this example does not cover finding oblique asymptotes. Degree of numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator, then your horizontal asymptote is going to be in the line y equals the leading coefficient of the numerator over the leading coefficient of the denominator. And then if the degree of the numerator is smaller than the degree of the denominator, then the horizontal asymptote is the line y equals 0, or the x-axis. Let's go ahead and look at some examples. So this first function that we're going to look at is f of x equals 8x squared divided by negative 3x plus 12. We'll find the vertical asymptote first. Vertical asymptote, we'll take just the denominator, negative 3x plus 12, set it equal to 0, and solve for x. Negative 3x equals negative 12. X equals negative 12 divided by negative 3. X equals 4. So the vertical asymptote is the line x equals 4. If you needed to graph it, it is literally the vertical line through x equals 4. Now let's go ahead and look at the horizontal asymptotes. So as far as degrees go, degree on top in the numerator for this function is 2. The degree of the denominator is 1. So this is the case where degree on top is bigger than degree on the bottom. So in this case, there is no horizontal asymptote. F of x equals 9x plus 3 divided by x squared plus 7. We'll start with vertical asymptotes. Vertical asymptotes, take the denominator x squared plus 7, set it equal to 0. Now x squared equals negative 7. If you take the square root of both sides, you'll get x equals plus or minus square root of negative 7. Now, square root of a negative number is not real. This is an imaginary number, which means that it is not going to show up on a real graph. So there is no vertical asymptote for this example. Well, let's try the horizontal one. Horizontal asymptotes, so degree on top in the numerator, but on top is just faster to write, is 1. Degree on the bottom is 2. So this is the case where the degree on the top is less than the degree on the bottom, which means that the horizontal asymptote will be the line y equals 0. It's also known as x-axis, but we usually write it in the y equals 0 format. All right, one more time. F of x equals 2x squared minus 6x minus 8 divided by x squared minus 2x plus 1. We'll start with vertical asymptotes. Take just the denominator, set it equal to 0. Now we'll go ahead and solve it. This is factorable. X, two numbers that multiply to 1 and add to -2. That's -1 and -1 again. So it's really just x minus 1 equals 0, which means x equals 1. So the vertical asymptote is at x equals 1. So the vertical line through x equals 1. Now the horizontal asymptote, degree on top in the numerator, is 2. Degree on the bottom is also 2. The degree of the function, by the way, is just the highest power on the x. So in this case, we have the degree on top equals the degree on the bottom. So the horizontal asymptote will be a line y equals the leading coefficient of the top divided by the leading coefficient of the bottom. Well, for us, the leading coefficient on top is 2, the number in front of x squared in the numerator, and the leading coefficient on the bottom, the number in front of x squared in the denominator, is 1. So my horizontal asymptote will be at y equals 2.